Hello students, you are welcome to class, and it's another time to learn in the maths class. So in this lesson we will be looking at an interesting aspect of mathematics. We'll be looking at simple equations. Now, not just will we be looking at simple equations, we'll be looking at word problems with respect to fractions and brackets, looking at how we can solve them in equations. And sometimes it's important to note that we can find solutions to many problems in life by expressing them mathematically in simple equations. Now, an equation is basically an algebraic term or expression with an unknown. Looking at what we have here, for example, 2x minus 9 is equal to 15. So x in this equation is the variable, or in this case, we call it the unknown. So the equation up here is an equation in which x is the unknown for this particular equation. Now, solving an equation means finding the value of the unknown that makes the equation true. So basically, an equation has a left-hand side and a right-hand side separated by an equality sign. Now, an equation would be said to be true if the left-hand side and the right-hand sides are equal, and that will be dependent on the value of the unknown. We can work on that looking at an example. Let's say I think of a number, I multiply it by 5 and I add 15, and let's say the result is 100. Now, what is the number I thought of? So, solving a problem in this term requires us to look at simple things. The first thing to do is to arrange the wordings, the words of the question in the mind. The mind is the first place we solve our questions before we solve them on the paper. So basically, let's say we name the number. Let's say the number I thought of is n, and the first part of the question says I think of a number and I multiply it by 5. So multiplying 5 by n gives us 5n, and second part of the question says I add 15, so 5n plus 15, and we are told that this will be equal to 100. So 5n plus 15 is equal to 100 is the equation we have before us. Now, to solve this equation, looking at it, we have two sides of the equation. The left hand side consisting of 5n plus 15, and the right hand side where we have 100. So a basic thing to do in solving this equation will be to take this 15 out from the left hand side, and we can do that simply by subtracting 15 from both sides of the equation. Since the first part of the question says, or the first part of the equation says we have plus 15, so it will be necessary to subtract 15 from it, and if we do that, we will be having 5n plus 15 minus 15 being equal to 100 minus 15. Now, this is okay because plus 15 minus 15 will give us 0. So with that, we would have succeeded in removing 15 from the left hand side of the equation. Now it is necessary to note, my friend, that whatever you do to the left hand side, you also do to the right hand side, and vice versa. So in this case, we are subtracting 15 from the left hand side, so we also subtract 15 from the right hand side. And if we do that, that will give us 5n to be equal to 85, because 100 minus 15 is 85. However, we are not looking for 5n, but n only. Therefore, the next thing to do would be to divide both sides by 5. So 5n divided by 5, 5 will cancel out 5, and then 85 divided by 5 would give us 17. Therefore, the number n is 17. Now we can check this by following the question. The first part of the question says, I think of a number. In this case, we have found the number to be 17. So I multiply it by 5. So 17 times 5 is 85. And then I add 15, and the result is 100. And yes, 85 plus 15 is 100. So this means our answer is correct and in line with the word problem, with the statement we had earlier. So I believe this was easy, but we're going to take up another case. Let's say I subtract 3 from a number and multiply the result by 5 and then add 9. So if the final result is 54, what is the original number I thought of? So like I said, first and first is to arrange these or make these statements arranged in our minds. So let's arrange it in our minds, and that will help us to make a proper solving, of course with fun. So arranging this in our minds, let's say first of all we say the number in this case is a. So according to the statement, I subtract 3 from the number, so a minus 3, and I multiply it by 5. So we have 5 brackets a minus 3, and I add 9 to it, and the result is 54. So we have 5 brackets a minus 3 close brackets plus 9 being equal to 54. So our brilliant math students, I believe, would tell you that the first step would be to clear the bracket from the equation by multiplying it by the number attached to it, which in this case is 5. So 5 multiplies a minus 3 in the bracket, and then we have 9 and 54 as the other part of the question. So looking at that, 5 times a gives us 5a, 5 times minus 3 gives us minus 15, then plus 9 is equal to 54. Going forward, yes, we collect like terms, and doing so, the plus 15 on the left hand side of the equation crosses the equality sign to the right hand side of the equation. The minus 15 on the left hand side crosses the equality sign and becomes plus 15, and the plus 9 on the left hand side crosses the equation and becomes minus 9. So 54 plus 15 minus 9 gives us 60. Therefore 5a is equal to 60. However, we are not looking for 5a, but we are looking for a. So the next step here would be to divide both sides by 5. So dividing both sides by 5, 5a divided by 5 cancels 5, we are left with a, and 60 divided by 5 gives us 12. So the original number I thought of was 12. So I believe it is getting easier and simpler by the examples, and I believe you will be able to try any other example or question by yourself. However, just to make it a bit more clearer, we will take the final example and a little different from the rest. So pay attention and make sure you get the point. So let's say I add 55 to a certain number and then divide the total by 3, and the result is 4 times the first number. So what is the number I thought of? So arrange the question in your minds before you arrange them on the book, on the paper. Arranging them, they say that the first part of the question, I add 55 to a number. So let's say the number in this case is m. So m plus 55 gives us the first part of the question. And we are told I divide it by 3. So m plus 55 divided by 3, we are told is equal to 4 times the number. That is 4 times m. So the equation we have is m plus 55 divided by 3 to be equal to 4 times m. Our next step will be to multiply both sides by 3 such that we can cancel the denominator 3 on the left hand side. So doing that, we have m plus 55 divided by 3 times 3 on the left hand side being equal to 4m times 3 on the right hand side. So m as the numerator on the left hand side cancels nothing, but 3 as a numerator on the left hand side cancels 3 as the numerator, as a denominator on the left hand side. Then 4 times m times 3 gives us 12, and that is why we have here m plus 55 being equal to 12m. So I believe my brilliant math students like yourself would know that the next step here would be to collect like terms. So collecting like terms, m on the left hand side crosses to the right hand side and becomes minus m. So we have 55 being equal to 12m minus m. So 12m minus m will give us 11m. So 55 is equal to 11m. However, we are not looking for 11m but m. So what do? We divide both sides by 11. So dividing both sides by 11, we have 55 divided by 11 being equal to 11m over 11. So 11 cancels 11 on the right hand side. We are left with m, while 55 divided by 11 on the left hand side gives us 5. Therefore, m is equal to 5. Now, that is what we have on the video here. 3 examples, 3 wonderful examples, which I believe you have understood perfectly. If you haven't, you may want to watch the video over again a bit, and you will get it because I know you are a brilliant child. So my dear friend, it's time to go, but you cannot go with me now because you are yet to complete your model work. So answer the questions below this video and attempt the quiz until you have 100%. And thereafter, you can join me in my flight. Join me on my right, and until then, till I see you, it's a bye from me.